are because I'm
It's
like, oh
another
my god,
Square
there's so
Enix
many.
game.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh man, I cannot wait to get my hands on Red Dead. Obviously, I'm gonna pick up Spider-Man. I'm just waiting a little bit longer to do it. But once I get my hands on that game, that's another you're not gonna see me for a while type of
Yeah, I'm
game.
stoked. I'm stoked on this game because the DLC is hot and heavy too. Like the first DLC is next month, and then there's one the month
Nice.
after, and there's the one the month after. So
And
that's
it's
going to be
all
pretty cool.
story
'Cause
DLC, right?
right, because the game's the one thing I'll say is it's pretty short. I'm not far, and I'm at 36% completion. So it's like
Okay.
it's pretty short as far as adventure games go, but it's really more about the experience and the storyline aspect than it is about
Yeah.
like full length. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about adding DLC to it, and I'm with you. I'm stoked on Kingdom Hearts, obviously, in almost the same way, where it's one of those top 3 or 4 game franchises of my life. Like I mean,
Yeah,
Pokemon.
exactly.
Pokemon, Sonic, Mass Effect, and Kingdom Hearts are probably, as far as franchises
I can
go.
definitely get on board with that. Yeah.
So I mean, it's something that's obviously been exciting for years, and to be this close, like you said, you can almost not allow yourself to believe how close
Oh
you
my
really
gosh.
are.
I can't. I really can't. I'm like, watch them say they're gonna push it back again.
Right,
Like,
exactly. We're gonna get
just keep having this
nuked
feeling
before
like
it comes out. Like the world's gonna end before the game, like the day before launch.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's really, really exciting. And then not only because it's coming out, but because between now and then, I'll have replayed all of the other Kingdom Hearts games, like 1
Yeah.
through everything. So. And I'm really excited about that because a lot of them I've never beaten before. I've never played through.
Yeah, I've never beaten any of the ones that are the off story type
Exactly.
games. So like,
and I have them all. I've just never played through them all.
yeah,
So
I played one of them, the one that was on the Game Boy. I played.
yeah, the
And
Chain of Memories.
Yes, Chain of Memories. I played that one, but I never beat it because I just couldn't get as into it as I was into like the core games.
Right.
But yeah,
That's how I felt.
I have the remastered edition for PlayStation, so that's my plan too. Before it's out, make sure I replay through everything and have the full story. And then I know there's like this movie thing that came with one of them.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it has like a synopsis of basically everything that's going on, so that way
right. And there's one movie that like takes place between the games. Yeah, that's the one thing about the game is that there's so many characters and so many convoluted overlapping arcs and everything that it's really confusing if you haven't invested thousands of hours into your life.
Exactly. If you didn't like take the time to really understand what was happening, you really just were kind of like, oh, I've locked a bunch of things at a bunch of Disney worlds. And that was like basically your understanding of the game. But the game is like, the story behind Kingdom Hearts is so like interestingly deep and woven into this really magical thing that brings like friendship and darkness and happiness and all these things into this one realm. And that's why Kingdom Hearts was such a big deal for me, because it was the first game where I was like, man, there's so much more to video games than I realized. When when you're growing up, like, you play games, especially when you have siblings, you play games like as a fun kind of getaway thing. And, growing up for me, video games were after you've gone outside and played all day, at the end of the day, you guys are allowed to use it.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, we only got, like maybe an hour or two, like when we're sitting, like, in the summertime and before everybody passes out, we play some Pac-Man or, we play Sonic. Sonic was big because it was 2-player, and, there was a bunch. So Sonic was a big one, and then fighting games, that was always a big one because you always had a 2-player, So any 2-player games, Kingdom Hearts was the first, like, solo game.
You're breaking up again a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's much better. Well, it's a little better. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, so Kingdom Hearts was the first like solo experience that I ever had.
Right.
So that made it so big.
That was that deep. Yeah, I agree with that. Like I played Final Fantasy VII, but it was like I wasn't as ready for Final Fantasy VII when it came out. So like Kingdom Hearts came out at the perfect time for me to be ready for that deep of an RPG, and it is that good objectively, regardless of what type of game. So yeah, I'm really stoked on that.
Yeah, so it's like I said, that's the thing. So So I think what we may do going forward, because I love that we're streaming a little bit of Spider-Man right now, because I get to like check it out and see what it's like, and you guys can check it out a little bit too. Yes, it's not that I don't like Star Wars Battlefront, guys. Please do not get me wrong. But I also have some other Star Wars games downloaded onto my PlayStation. Some of the more retro games.
Yeah, we can stream some of those. I have those too.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. It's like you know, we can. There's other things we can play that are Star Wars based, and I think we may go back to that because I just don't know if you like. At the end of the day, really, what we're here to do mostly is talk about Star Wars.
Right. Exactly.
We can really do that with anything going in the background or anything like, you know, to relate it to. So, that being said, I don't know how much more we're going to play Star Wars Battlefront 2, because when I had to turn it on, I was like, oh, God.
I just can't wait for Geonosis. That, like, when that comes out, I'll play the crap out of it. But other than that, it's difficult to get up for it.
Yeah, also, I was talking to someone the other day, and they asked why we mostly talk about Star Wars if we have such broad-ranging interest. And I said, oh, well, because, you know, that was really
because we didn't have anyone to talk about Star Wars with when we started this thing.
Exactly. I was like, that was really it. It was like about, he's like, oh, well, you know, it'd be cool to hear you guys, like, dive into some other stuff, too. So I was like, oh, you know, that could be cool. We'll explore that and maybe think about doing that as well. So, and as I shift us hopefully more towards the podcast, I still like doing the live streams, though, just because they're really fun. But as I shift more towards this being a podcast, I thought that was also something. So, yeah, guys, if you do tend to listen in later or something like that, because I know a lot of our listeners and a lot of our views don't come until after we do the live stream. So I know a lot of people listen after we've already recorded. So if you're listening to secondhand, just let us know if there's anything else you'd like to hear us BS about, please let us know, and we'd be more than happy to take an episode here or there to kind of go off the path and talk about something a little different. Obviously, still in the realm of, you know, nerd stuff and geek stuff, movies, TV, that kind of stuff. Me and Adam are both pretty well versed in most things, so.
Yeah, if there's something that I'm not, you are, and vice versa, usually.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. Together we make the perfect nerd. Oh, yeah. By the way.
Especially with Jared. With Jared, when he's here, it's like the perfect trifecta, because, like, I've never been into anime or anything, and he has. So, like, a lot of the stuff that I've never allowed myself to be into, he's into it.
Yeah, I got into like stuff like when we were like younger, so like Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that. Like
even
like
that
90s anime, but like I never really got super. My brother, however, he's like heavy. He's like one of those like Naruto guys who like wears like the
weeaboo.
The head.
Yeah, Jared's like he's been that into it too, and sometimes I think ironically, but he might just be trolling. I mean, because he really does. He's seen like we'll talk about Naruto, and I'll be like, yeah, I've never seen an episode. He'll be like, oh, then you don't know who this character is. I'm like, okay, and so like even if he's watching it ironically, he's still watching it.
He's still watching it. Yeah, that's hilarious. But yeah, it'd be good to have Jared back, man. I know he's been super busy, so.
Absolutely, yeah, it's tough.
So like it's just been so crazy lately, and I appreciate anyone who still sticks with us through all of our craziness, because I see other people, you know, posting things and other, I guess, quote unquote YouTubers who do things, and we are by far, and we do something only once a week. We do it for only about an hour, and we talk about relatively like one subject, which is Star Wars, and so it's nice to have like at least a couple people who are still like interested in that, because like I see other YouTubers out there who they have content out almost every day, and they're psychotic, a broad range of subject. They're usually very psychotic. So it's like,
I agree, because like I said, when we started, it wasn't to build an audience. It was so that we could talk about Star Wars and have a scheduled way to do it. So I mean, it was always nice for that, and that was always the point. So I really, appreciate what we've done so far, and that people have enjoyed it is just the cherry on top for me. But
yeah, definitely, I agree. It's one of my favorite things to do, only because it's like it's like therapy session almost every week, where it's like, I have all these things that like build up in my head, and Amber, I can only get the please shut up look so many times.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's certainly a de-stressor too.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, thanks guys if you do have like stuck with us up to this point. We really appreciate it. And like I said, I don't know how much we'll be playing Star Wars Battlefront 2. There's a lot of other games that I think you guys want to see right now. And I have no issue playing those. Like, we've gotten requests plenty of times to play other things. I just typically am always like, oh, well, it's a Star Wars channel, so we kind of do the Star Wars things. But like right now we got Spider-Man going, and it's freaking incredible. And Adam's been playing. I haven't picked it up yet, guys, because I'm waiting on Red Dead, and I gotta budget out my fund this month. So I gotta hold off for next month and grab Red Dead in October. But I am excited for it, and I definitely think we're going to be streaming some of that for sure. Because
certainly, especially since Jared will hopefully be in on it too.
Anything else? Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. The online mode. Like, I just can't wait for all of it. Like, it's gonna be sweet, man. And plus, I do play a lot of GTA still, so I've been doing all of the in-game missions that will get you certain things when you get Red Dead.
Oh, I didn't know that even existed. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, so like I already have this really dope like golden pistol unlocked.
Oh,
and
sick.
then I unlocked like this new outfit, or some outfit you can only get like if you do like the missions ahead of time. So I've been like grinding in GTA to make sure that I'm all hooked up for Red Dead.
That's
Plus,
dope.
You know,
I didn't even know you could do that.
So, yeah, that's why I kind of like Rockstar, man. They make a good game, and I'm really stoked that they have been doing like all these. They're kind of getting you ready for Red Dead, which is like, you know, it's obviously marketing, so whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's the way to do it. That's sick.
But that's the way to do it, exactly. Because now I'm like, oh, now I can actually play this game and unlock stuff in that game. So you know, that's what I've been doing, and it's been pretty fun. But yeah, we're definitely going to be streaming some Red Dead Redemption 2, because that game's going to be awesome. I keep hoping, I know it's not going to happen, but I'm like, if they came out with another zombie mode for this one,
maybe it'll be DLC like it was for the last one.
That's what I'm hoping, yeah, because I know last time it was like the expansion pack you could get back in the day when you had to go buy the second disc. So, you know, now you could just download it all. But I think, and that's another good thing about Spider-Man that I meant to say, was that I really love that. Because like they did it for Horizon Zero Dawn 2, which is another like first-person narrative game that I really like. But I love that you can do like the expansion packs now, because like people complain all the time, but this is exactly where I don't mind having them. When you have a game like Spider-Man,
absolutely, I'll pay for it.
That's like, I'll keep paying for story. If you keep making more story, I'll keep paying for it. You know what I mean? So,
that's the thing, is like a lot of not only do I not mind doing that for a game like this, I certainly don't, but for the games that didn't do it intentionally, like Battlefront 2 and Mass Effect Andromeda, those are other games that I gladly would have done that for. That's what I don't think they understand. It's not about the game, like Mass Effect charging you for DLC, or Battlefront 2 charging you for DLC. It's about the Call of Duties that intentionally give you 2/3 of their maps and then charge you out the butthole for 2 maps and a gun skin every 2 months. Like, that's ridiculous. And that's what I think. You know, EA got involved in that a little bit, particularly with Battlefield and a little bit with Battlefront 2015. But really, it's more about like the other groups that are ruining it for the rest of us, and that's what Activision has always been known for. Activision's Satan in a lot of ways, and even if they make an engaging game that's fun to play, that doesn't make them less douchebaggy. So I mean,
definitely.
The Call of Duty franchise is really what did it in for me. I think what ruined it from that perspective.
What? When I think about it, I honestly, 9 times out of 10, you'll get more of my money if it's like I said, a game like Spider-Man, or like, you know, a story-driven game. I'm more likely to spend money for campaign and DLC because of that, because of what I'm paying for, and because of, you know, like Mass Effect Andromeda, like you said, I because of what it is.
That's what I want in the first place.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. So I gladly pay for more story, because that's what Mass Effect is for me. So, like, that's what I mean. Like,
either like don't make DLC and make the game complete, or make DLC and charge me, but don't split the difference.
But don't split the difference, exactly. And then and that's what it, and that's 100% what it is. And I like games like that. I don't mind spending a little bit more money on something that's gonna bring more enjoyment time out of the game. That's really good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that's like Battlefront. That's the thing. It's like like you said, I wouldn't have mind paying for a season pass. Like I wouldn't.
No, absolutely. If it meant you were going to get Geonosis 6 months ago, like it really it doesn't make any sense to not do it. And again, I get that like the loud people sort of shut it down for the rest of us, and I understand that mentality and how it works to companies like this. But at the same time, it's. Yeah, I know where I am in the city right now. This is where the Nike store is. That's funny. It's
awesome that it's that detailed.
That would have been Trump Tower right there in real life. But
that's awesome.
No, it's thanks for that, Rivers. It's 2018. So I mean, if you're playing a game and you're not expecting to pay for extra content, then like that. Plug in your 360, I guess. It's just something that you should anticipate at this point.
Hey, listen, there's some good games on the 360.
Oh, so, absolutely. My 360 is plugged in right now. It's just that, like, I just don't understand why that had to ruin the content. Like, if the game companies were going to stop with the content being readily available, then that's fine. But they tried to market it like, well, you're going to get content, it's just going to be free. But instead, they said that for Mass Effect, and they literally didn't make any content. So it's a ripoff to those diehard Mass Effect fans like I am. Like, if they had released content for Mass Effect, I don't care how bad the game originally was, I would have bought the content. And instead, they said it's going to be free, no season pass, and then they made zero content, and that's not fair. That's like a crime.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that to me, that could be considered like that could be considered that happened. I saw it like a second after you said it. That could be considered false advertising to me, like, because like to me, if I know, like, if you advertise a game like, hey, if don't worry if you don't feel like this is quite the experience, because there's gonna be more. We're gonna make you more, and so I buy the game based off of that. And then you just don't make more. I'm like, well, hell, what the hell? I bought this game.
I don't know that I would have bought the game. Right.
And then, I wouldn't have bought the game if you wouldn't have. So, but like I said, like, for me, a better way to do this is to put it into games like this, where it, like what you're going to give me is going to,
give me some suits, give me some storyline, maybe another playable character or two. And, I mean, Batman Arkham did it really well, too. And then, 6 months later, release a Game of the Year edition, put all the content in that. Like, if you want to spend $20 on a season pass just to get the content 6 months earlier than a Game of the Year edition would come out, then do that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what I did for the Batman games. I never played them all. But when the Batman games were good, they had the Game of the Year edition that came out. Or even Red Dead. Red Dead has the Game of the Year edition come out. That has the zombie mode. It has all the content you could want. And you're set up, and you could just wait for that. I wouldn't. I would play it when it came out if I wanted to play the game. But you could if you were going to be one of those people who's complaining.
Exactly, and see, you use just such key words there. You could.
Right. It's your choice. The game company took the choice away from you. We literally got it marketed to us like we're the ones in power, and we have less choice than we've ever had before as a result.
Yeah. That's very true. That's a very true statement. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm excited because I don't mind. Like I said, with these new games coming up, like, I'm excited to see what other story DLC they might come out with for Red Dead Redemption. Because I mean, if you look at GTA 5, they are constantly updating that game, like, to the point where it's ridiculous. Like, every week I go on, and there's some new gun, there's some new car, there's some new, all stuff you can get in the story mode as well. So it's like they're constantly updating the game. So I don't know why they wouldn't take all that same model and bring it right over to Red Dead, and we can see, like, because then I don't mind, like, all right, if there's a season pass or if there's DLC or whatever, I'll definitely put money towards it because I love the game.
Right.
And if it's something that I don't mind sitting and spending my time, which is originally what I was talking about when we started, was, that's the thing with Battlefront 2. Like, yes, you guys are bringing out DLC, and that's great, and that's awesome, but if I have $20 extra you know, and let's be honest, for most people, $20 extra isn't really like, doesn't happen very often. I mean, do we really actually have extra money? I mean, it's just money that I'm choosing not to spend on something else.
Exactly. So it's not really discretionary funds. Extra. Yeah, exactly. I spent $80 on this game because I wanted the deluxe edition, and you know, I wanted to get all the DLC when it came out, but I can't tell you that it's frequent that I'm going to spend $80 on a game. I can tell you that whenever that happens, I want to be the one to make that decision, though. Like if Battlefront comes out and they're like, "Hey, you don't have to spend $80. Guess what? That's awesome." But instead, you don't get any content. That sucks. I'd rather spend $100 on Battlefront and get content every 3 months than get content once a year because I saved $40. And then I would just buy a game fewer here or there if it was like if I had to make a choice between two games. I don't
mind putting my time into this game. That's the thing exactly. Like, you know, it all, like, to me is like this. Because most gamers, I feel like, you know, a lot of people who do play video games are younger. They have a lot of time on their hands. That's great. But the people that actually buy video games are people who are me and your age. Like working adults who have money who can buy video games. And if I have to, like you said, you know, I'm not going to go spend $80, $100 on every game experience because you could at this point. Like any game that drops, there's always going to be extra stuff you can buy. So you could relatively spend, like, every game that comes out, just get it all, and now you're spending, you know, $100 on every game. Most of the time, I'm going to, once or twice a year, there are those 2 games that come out for me that I'm like, all right, those are the big ones for me this year. Like, those are the ones where I'm going to get everything, and then maybe I'll get these couple ones throughout the year and just, you know, get the vanilla version and play that and be happy with it.
Exactly. Or wait for a Game of the Year edition here or there. Like, if you know a game's going to have, and you don't know this ever anymore, but if you knew a game ahead of time was going to have a Game of the Year edition, you thought you would want it, but you don't want to get it right when it comes out, then you just play a game 6 months later than everyone else plays that game. That's not the end of the world either.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing for Spider-Man right now. Like, I'm not going to wait 6 months.
Right.
But I'm definitely going to wait a little while to get it, just because I have something else I want to get right now, which is fine. But, like, that's the thing. It's like, it's hard to spend any extra anything on Battlefront when I have these other games coming out where I'm like, I'd much rather spend my money and time on that experience because I'm just not getting what I want when I go into Battlefront. Like, it's just not as much fun as it was when, you know, honestly, it just doesn't make sense to me how if I load up, because my brother was over the other day and he was like asking about the older Battlefront for PS2 because he had never played it. So like, oh yeah, I'll throw it in because I have it. Me and him, like, played it for like 3 hours.
Right.
Like, it's like, that's what I mean. It's like, it's so, how is that experience from the PlayStation 2 still so much more fun than this experience?
Right.
And that's, like, says something about the game itself. And really, it's because me and him can basically, all right, we're going to pick, because I took him to, like, the basically where you can just go into, you set up the whatever, and you can just, it just cycles through the modes.
Just do your own thing, right.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, we're going to pick these crazy planets. We can just do superheroes, like, you know, the hero mode, so we can literally just pick whoever we want. And that's what made the game fun, is that it had all this content and all these characters to choose from. And, like, all these, like, and that's the thing, is it didn't have, like, a million weapons. It didn't have all these, like, crazy, like, whatever. It's, like, it just had the core things that made
No, it just made you feel like you were in Star Wars.
Correct. Exactly, and they had the right things right. Make a ton of worlds and make a ton of characters, and then just have at it. And that's all you had to do.
Right.
And somehow they just couldn't get that. But like you said, at this point, it's kind of a crime we haven't been given. Like, the fact that you're playing a Spider-Man game that is this awesome, the fact that we haven't something equivalent to this in a Star Wars game is really sad.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It's pathetic. And if you gave the franchise to any fanboy, you would have had, you know, 10. And the thing is, for every, like, 9 good ones, you'll have a bad one. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. But our problem is that for 10 years, we'll go without any, and then we'll have one mediocre one to last us the next 10 years. So it's really... It's challenging.
And I think that's why there's so much pressure on Battlefront. Yeah, exactly. That's true. It's disappointing as a fan, and I think it just puts a lot of pressure on the Battlefront franchise because you have people like me and you, or, you know, other Star Wars fans who are going to that and be like, listen, I'm getting nothing in video games as far as Star Wars goes. This is all I'm going to get. Like, what can you guys offer? And it's always something that's a shooting game, and that's fine. Shooting games are fine. An FPS, that's big. You'll make your money that way. Okay. But then it's like, all right, well, I don't care if I'm going to shoot at stuff. Just give me depth. That's really all I'm asking for.
Oh, absolutely,
Star Wars saying, just give me depth. And then Star Wars 2015 did that. It was like, all right, these worlds are beautiful. Like, I remember when I first got the game, how many times I got killed because I was like, oh my god, look at that rock. And
right. Listen to the TIE fighter coming to kill me. It sounds so good.
Exactly, right? Or you hear Darth Vader's breathing or something, you're like, oh my god, that's so cool.
Right.
But like then you get this new one, and all you had to do was double down on that depth, really. Just go a little bit deeper. And instead you just kind of kept it the same, like you said. And then it's like, well, all right, I kind of did this already.
Right.
It's kind of like it just felt like a $60 update. It really did, and that's
which is, I mean, that's the Call of Duty way of life at this point. That's how shooters work in general, and that's okay if that's the concept. But again, if I don't want to buy Call of Duty with a season pass, but I would buy Star Wars with a season pass, then just make Star Wars with a season pass. And, I mean, I'm never going to buy a Call of Duty game again. I'm confident in saying that. But that doesn't mean that, like, I wouldn't do what Call of Duty does if it was Star Wars instead. And, I mean, it doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be the quality of Battlefront 2015. Do that yearly or every other year and charge me for a season pass, just like you did with Battlefront 2015, and I'm down.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I don't think I'm in the minority. Like, I think EA probably thinks I am. But, I mean, instead...
but EA also has not proven to be very...
they don't have their ear to the ground in any way.
The customers are thinking.
Yeah, certainly. And, I mean, they've had experiences where it clearly just did not work straight up. Like, they do the loot crates, and that's a bad idea. And to their credit, they stopped that right then. But only because they're not going to make any money if they don't, and as a result, they still didn't make any money. So it's never been about us having a game that we deserve to them as much as it is about them, you know, making us feel like they're doing what they can for us.
Yeah, and that's why I'd love it if a Star Wars game could get in the hands of, like, you know, I say Valve just because I always, when I think of just respect...
Or BioWare again, even. Like, give us another type of KOTOR game.
Yeah, like, dude, I keep saying, like, where's the KOTOR remake? Just remake KOTOR. Like, just literally just bring it up to date.
Make the same game.
Graphics. Right. Just make the same game. And I guarantee you, you'll sell so many. And because I don't feel like it's that. One, if you didn't get to play it when you were younger, and you see that it's coming out, you know what it is.
Right, it's, so and it's like, that good. That's the other thing.
Exactly. Like, if you didn't get to play it, you're gonna be like, oh, I didn't get a chance. Now here's my chance to play it when it's like really, really polished and looks awesome.
Right.
And you know, you have people like us who did play it and know what really this game is about. So we're like, oh my god, yes, I get to play it again. So it's like, really, you can't lose. Just make the freaking game. Like, I don't understand it. Like, at this point, like you said, it's really kind of like, it feels like a shot in the nuts that we haven't got that good of a Star Wars, like, story-driven game. And I saw, like, the, even
especially with all the ones they've started and then canceled. Like, you get it up for something and then you get blue balls for the rest of your life because they're like, oh, don't worry, there's a Darth Maul game, and you're like, okay, cool, and then nothing, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'm never gonna believe anybody ever again. Like, this is why I have commitment issues and depression. Like, Kingdom Hearts not coming out for 15 years, StarCraft Ghosts, and then this. Like, those are the three things.
Oh my god, yeah, especially, oh my god, especially if you were a Silent Hill PT guy.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know, added on to the frustration, because I know that was one for me. Where
I remember the day StarCraft Ghost got announced, I pre-ordered it for GameCube at GameStop on Crossroad in Waterford. And I was like so stoked. And it got canceled, and then it got delayed and pushed back. It was like, all right, don't worry, it's not coming out for GameCube, but it'll be out for Xbox 360 and PS3. So I canceled my pre-order for GameCube. I re-pre-ordered it for those systems, and then, you know, just straight up canceled. I'm like, well, what the hell? There's no point in caring.
Yeah, that's another one. That's another one of them where I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care. It took away my will to live. Like, yeah, man, that's what I mean. It's like we're just overdue for a decent Star Wars game, and honestly, I'm tired of shooting at stuff. I really am. Like, I'm just done shooting at
and I mean, that's how I felt about Spider-Man 2, honestly. Like, I was I was like, we need a great Spider-Man game. There's no reason with today's games being what they are that we can't have exactly this game that I'm playing right now. I
think that's why the game is doing so well right now, is because so many people share that sentiment. Like,
well, he's just the perfect character for this type of game. But instead, they've wasted this type of game on crappy characters and crappy games. But like, this type of game is why, like, Spider-Man is why this type of game even exists. And why, like, the game makers have the imagination to come up with a game like this. Like, Arkham was fine, but there's... Spider-Man's the GOAT for this type of game. And the fact that they did it right on PS2, similar to Battlefront, they did it right 15 years ago. They just never followed up on it. And now we finally have this experience that's, you know, it's what everybody could ever want, and it's so perfect. The only thing is the length. But like I said, with the DLC, hopefully it's a little bit longer. Hopefully they announce a sequel. But the original story, the voice acting, the graphics, the gameplay, the fighting, the ability to do whatever you want, and it's as close to perfect a Spider-Man experience as you can possibly have. I'm not saying it's the best video game of all time, but it's without a doubt the best Spider-Man experience you could possibly want.
Oh, you know what? That's, you know, like, I agree with you. Like, I feel like we live in this day and age where we have so many, like, we're just kind of jaded. So, like, a good game will come out. And we're like, oh, it's all right. Like, it's okay to be like, this is a really good freaking game. Like, it's like, you know, we just live in this day and age where we just can't be excited about anything anymore because it's like, well, that can't be the best. It's like, you know what? There's, like, that's the thing is, like you said, we, as true fans,
like, we've lived through bad games. We've been through times without crap. And not only that, but we grew up in a time when, like, when I first started playing this game, I was like taking the selfie mode off the top of like Avengers Tower, and I was like, I cannot believe that I'm playing this right now. Like, the fact that this game exists is unbelievable to me, because I remember playing like Genesis Spider-Man and having to use my imagination to say like, oh my god, I'm swinging through the city right now, and really you're just looking at like a square block of pixels. And to be playing a game like this that's as immersive and realistic and fun as it is just like an absolute privilege, and I think we're just cynical to that fact.
Exactly, and I think that's like, I was talking to this guy the other day at GameStop. I stopped in for a minute, and he was asking me, because I had on a Star Wars shirt, obviously. He was asking me like what I thought of Han Solo, and I told him, I was like, you know, after I watch Han Solo, whenever I watch Star Wars, I try to watch it like I'm 10 years old again. Like, I try to watch it like I'm a 10-year-old, because I feel like I'm judging all these movies based off of my unimaginative, dull 28-year-old brain. Instead of looking at it through the eyes that I had when the first time I saw it, which was this like imagination-filled, like wonder-filled brain of a 10-year-old boy who could literally like be dazzled by anything. And so, like, I was like, if I look at it like that, you know, like you said, if you would have handed me this version of Spider-Man I would have literally crapped my pants.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have never have done anything else for the rest of my childhood except play that game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's the other part of it that I was trying to fathom is like our children will never understand that. Like, they'll play this game in 5 years after it's been out for 5 years. They'll be like, this game's not that good, because it won't be that good anymore. And instead, we're stuck here playing like, this is the best thing I've ever done. Like, I've literally never imagined an experience better than this. And instead, like, they're gonna be like, wow, it doesn't have as good graphics as Minecraft 4. And I mean, it's like, it's so weird, because we grew up in this, like, when games were supposed to be fun, but they weren't about, like, I don't know, it's just, it's a different world.
Yeah, I told my brother that. I was like, you don't understand, because you're like, I told him, I was like, your first system was an Xbox 360.
Right,
like,
you have no idea what we've been through.
You just don't get, like, what it was like gaming when we were kids. And, like, because we were playing games during the boom, like, when it was taking off and it was starting to hit its stride with how much money it was making, because like when the 80s were happening and, you know, the game, like Nintendo was doing its thing with home consoles finally and things like that, it wasn't nearly what it was like when PS2 took off. And then all of a sudden these developers were like, wait a second, there's a really high-end machine that we can make games for relatively easily. That's awesome. So then you have this library of games on a system that's never been seen before. I mean, like, PS2 has such a deep library, and you could literally like there's so many good titles. It's so hard to even remember all of them now because there's so many of them. And so like we went through this epic like change, like watching games, like when I sat down for the first time to ever play a game, this pixelated version of like whatever, and then now being an adult, like you said, swinging through New York as if I'm really there, like
recognizing streets I'm on, like it's unbelievable. Honestly, it's difficult to fathom, and it's weird to think about. Like I said, our kids, like, what are they going to be playing? Like, it's a full VR experience? Is it like, you know, a Ready Player One type thing where they're like, this, are you kidding me? You like analog sticks? Like, I remember when analog sticks were the only thing that mattered. Like, when you went from a PSX controller with the solid gray and you went to a PS1 with the, like, the pearl white and the analog sticks, that was when you knew you had made it. And, like, the fact that people don't the game doesn't have great like the best frame rate I've ever seen. Shut up, like, dude, just be a kid once in a while.
I remember when I got a Rumble Pack for Christmas, and I
a link cable,
like, oh my
a worm light, like all these things.
Like my controller's gonna vibrate.
Like if you hand a kid a control or like a Game Boy right now, they'll assume it's a touchscreen because they've never seen anything different, and like it's so weird to think about that.
Anytime I hand her anything, she literally touches the screen first, no matter what it is. She's like, why isn't it working? Like,
even my kid, like, we'll go to the aquarium and they have those little touch screens with information, and he's like walking up to it and swiping and like touching it. I'm like, you're not even like talking, and you shouldn't be able to do this. And it's just, it's so weird that, you know, that we have this game and we can appreciate it, and even if it's flawed, you're like I remember back in the day, like a game would have like a glitch and you'd be like, oh, and you'd like make up your own little story as to why there was a glitch in the game. Like there'd be a Star Wars game and like a character would be like, he would have a typo in his name. You'd be like, oh, well, that's just how they spell it in the Star Wars universe or something like that. And now like something like this comes out, they're like, oh, well, when I fought Wilson Fisk, his face didn't move for the split second when he started. Shut up. Like, look at what I'm doing right now. Just enjoy something.
Oh my god, exactly, man. I remember when I played, I think it was was it Dig Dug or was it some game, I can't, it was either Dig Dug or it was Spelunker. That's what it was. It was Spelunker. I played like Spelunker on like the Nintendo, and I remember it was the first time I ever played a game where you could go like, you know, it was like a flat plane, but you kind of went like underground.
You could go backwards. You're right.
And you could go like, and I was like, oh my god, did I just go underneath the ground? That is amazing. Like I was blown away. And like you said, like that's where my gaming knowledge starts, and then comes to now where. Lila's so funny because we play, she likes to play Final Fantasy a lot, and, you know, the newest one, you can basically do anything.
Right.
And, so I'll go to play another game, and she's like, well, can you sit down? Or, like, can you not? I'm like, no, like, you can't, like, you can't interact with everything in the world, and she just doesn't understand that. She's like, well, oh, can you go pick that thing up over there? I'm like, no, I can't. You can't pick everything up. Like, why don't, but she's, like, so used to these high-tech level of games where you could just do whatever, that she's like, I don't get it. Like, what do you mean you can't just go pick a bunch of stuff up? I'm like, I remember when the ground wasn't a ground. It was just a flat brown thing that had pictures of rocks on it, and you were just like, oh, that's a rock.
Right. Yeah, like Ocarina. Like these kids could never play through Ocarina nowadays. Or like you look at Sonic even. Like Sonic 1 is gorgeous. Oh my God, it's like, it's still hard for me to play that game and not be like, wow, this game is amazing. And
it really is.
It's so weird.
Sonic is my Mario. Like Sonic was my
same. No comparison.
Like, Sonic was my Mario. Like
absolutely.
He to me is like that childhood character.
First system I ever had was a Genesis. First game I ever had was Sonic 1. I mean, it is like a special thing for me. I remember the first time when Jared was living with me, I was like playing through the first level of Sonic. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like flying through the level just on like muscle memory alone. He's like, you're the best player of Sonic I've ever seen in my life. And to me, I'm like, I'm not even good. Like, I'm just like, do you understand how bad I am? I just missed all those rings. I just did this. But like, you just think of it as like, it's how it is. I don't know. It's second nature.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like, it's my Mario. Like, I have friends who are just Nintendo kids all the way. And obviously for them, it's either Zelda or Mario. It's like their first experience. And for me, like I said, Sega Genesis was my first system as well. And then we got four games, or no, we got 3 games, and then we added on a 4th. But Sonic came in like the little 3-pack.
The 6-pack or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it came in the like little pack of games that we got, and so it was that. It was Lion King, hardest game of all time.
Yeah, oh yeah. Lion King and Aladdin are like tied for that honor.
I don't care what anyone says. Like Lion King and Aladdin are punishingly difficult to the point where I'm ridiculous. Like I'm a grown man now, and I still have a legitimate hard time to like the 5th level of Lion King. Like, it's actually hard. And anyone who ever challenges me on that, come to my house and play Lion King on my Sega Genesis. And if you can get past the 3rd level, I will give you $20.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, and when we start doing some of these episodes of like retro Star Wars games, you'll see it too. Because like, I love the retro Star Wars games, but they're impossible. Like Super Return of the Jedi and Super Star Wars. I have both of them, and like we'll play them, and you'll watch me like broadcast how bad I am at them. But I'll tell you now, they're not easy for me to play.
They're not easy games at all, and that's what I mean. It's like that's why I appreciate so much, and I think that's why, you know, like, cause some people ask, like, you know, I was talking to Miles not too long ago because he's finally back in the States.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, so we were BSing a while ago because he's thinking about starting a podcast, and he knows that we do this every week, so he was asking me kind of like some advice on it, and he was like, oh, you know, how are you like able to talk about that? I'm like, dude, I think like I genuinely feel like still maintaining this connection to video games and being like allowing myself to be like amazed by stuff, and like people think I'm so cheesy and corny because I'll get like legitimately giddy over something Star Wars. Like I'll like be giggling like, oh my god, like I freak out. But I'm like, you know what? Like life is so freaking dark sometimes. Right. And it sucks. And I was like, and you know, it's nice to be able to look at, you know, where we like be like when I was sitting down with my sisters and like all we had was this like rinky-dink little, you know, TV in our room, and we were playing like, you know, Eternal or what was it? Streets of Rage.
Oh, I love Streets of Rage. They're making a new one of Streets of Rage.
Oh, no way, that's awesome. Yeah. That's so freaking sick. That was Lila's first game. She loved that.
It came up on my memories a couple weeks ago. Carly and I beat it together like 5 years ago, and that's like the last time we played a game together. But my dad and I used to play through that game together, which, you know, that meant a lot to me because my dad doesn't play games. So like, he would sit there and play FIFA with me, and he'd sit there and play Streets of Rage, and it was just so cool to have a game to play with him.
Exactly, and that's what I like about like now is like when I go and see a game like Spider-Man, like I said, like my brother who's younger than me, he's like, oh yeah, it looks okay, I might get it, I don't know. Or I'm like, oh my god, did you see Spider-Man? It looks freaking amazing. Like I'm like freaking out because I remember how shitty games used to be. They were terrible, and now
but they were good. You know? That's the thing. Like if you went back and played Spider-Man 2 for PS2, like yeah, it's the greatest superhero game of all time or whatever. But it's not amazing by like standards. It's just that you could like
the crap out of it.
Put yourself in these situations that are so special, and now it's just different.
I will never forget the first part of that game where you're learning the mechanics of it, and you're just in that little like open space, and it's like 2 towers basically, and you have to get between the 2 towers. And I remember when my stepdad bought the game home for me, and he was like, oh, you know, I saw that the Spider-Man game was out for the movie or whatever, and I know you like Spider-Man, so if you want to try it, you know, you can keep it. And I was like, all right, cool, like, cause he, you know, he had his own system, but he never really liked certain games, so you try it if you like it, you can have it. I didn't do anything else.
Just swinging.
A week and a half straight. I was like, oh my god. Like you can, oh my god. And then when I figured out, and then you know you can upgrade the different, you know, spider web things, attacks that you can use. I remember the first like upgrade I got. I'm like, oh my god, you can do. Oh my god. It's just so. I was freaking blown away, man. And then seeing this game come out years and years later, and it being like just as awesome, like that same feeling watching these videos of people playing, like, oh my god, I can't wait to get my hands on this game. Yeah man, I'm stoked. It's
really fun.
Exciting,
I mean, it's cool because like like I said, I unlocked everything, and it's cool that you get to unlock stuff when you collect everything. But it almost doesn't even matter because I would just be swinging around the city doing whatever I want, even if there wasn't stuff to unlock. It's just like it's a happy bonus that there happens to be stuff.
I will say that Spider-Man. Now, Amber's favorite superhero is Spider-Man.
Mine too. For me, it's always been like Star Wars to me, where there's like it's Spider-Man, and then on a level way below Spider-Man, there's everybody else. Like I honestly, there's no one even comparable for me to Spider-Man.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Spider-Man. He's not always been my favorite superhero, but I will say this for Spider-Man. As far as getting from place to place, there's not anyone cooler than Spider-Man. Like,
no, in game concepts too. He has like the most game-worthy repertoire and villains. Everything about him is so game perfect that like he's just the
combat
best.
Like coming up with combat moves must be infinitely fun. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, it's just so fun.
To be one of the developers for that, you could just be like, I don't know, maybe he does this. Like, you just come up with whatever, and you can come up with cool stuff because I think the thing is that people forget Spider-Man just doesn't shoot webs and stuff like that. Like he has, you know, he's very strong. Like there's other attributes to him that you can add into a game that make, you know, the Spidey sense itself is a whole extra thing. So, you know, that's what I mean. Like as far as like putting, like you said, the game that kind of was the standard superhero game for a minute was the Batman games, the Arkham games, and they were really, really good. But I mean, it's basically a beat 'em up with Batman. I mean, that's really what it is. And that's cool. It's for what it is. But you could have done that with any other superhero.
Anything,
or
exactly.
Not any other superhero.
No, but it's there's nothing about it. I mean, the games are cool because they have the same voice cast as the show, and you know, there's little Easter eggs and things like that. But you never, I never felt like it was the definitive Batman experience, like some of the comics and shows and movies have felt. And this comes out, and like I can't even imagine there being a more Spider-Man feeling. Like I said, it's a cool thing that he's a comic book because I love comic books and because he literally shaped like my personality. But his existence as a video game character is beyond like the perfect marriage. It's just the perfect, the ideal video game, for sure.
He's you know, honestly, I will say this for Spider-Man, as far as his universe goes, and he's probably, like you said, one of the most translatable characters over into the video game world, just because of the variety. Not like other, you know, superheroes. You know, like Superman, like specifically, because he's kind of like, I guess, the superhero to compare to. Like, even his depth of characters that you can bring in to fight him kind of ends after.
No, absolutely. And Spider-Man's got the best villains. He's got the best side characters, the best, you know, angsty storylines. He's just the perfect character for comics.
He lives in New York.
The best city, the best city to play in. That's what I was going to say. So, yeah, it really is. It's so fun, and I'm so excited to keep playing it. I don't care. Like, I was telling Jared and... you know, this is one of those games that I'm going to totally 100%, like, unlock every single thing, you know, find every single secret, beat it on expert mode, all that crap. But even after that, like, I'll put this game on just to swing around. Like, it's just that much fun.
Oh, yeah, man. That's what I'm excited about. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It looks freaking awesome. But let me get going, because I'm really excited about these new games coming out, so I can talk about them forever. But let me get going, because it's getting around that time. I got to help Amber out with the kids now.
Absolutely.
Get them into bed. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Sorry I was running a little bit late. Like I said, life is just so crazy right now. But I know Adam won't be with us next week, right?
Correct.
He's going to be
I have inventory.
So I will... Yes, I will do my best to be here, guys, and we will chat about Star Wars or anything else that you guys want to talk about, because it will just be me. So, I don't think, because you guys, you're going to somewhere else, right? So, I don't think Jared's going to be around.
No, well, no, I have my inventory for work. I don't know if Jared will be here next week, but I won't be on for work. I have an overnight.
Okay, that's right. Okay. All right, awesome. So I will be here, guys. So we'll talk about Star Wars that night, and I've been wanting to talk about chat about Carrie Fisher and Leia in general. So maybe we'll finally get to that next week. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. You can find us on Talking Sith Everything, and I am Chaz. Just in case you're new to the podcast or to our live stream, I'm Chaz, and I'm joined every week with Adam. Thanks for joining me, man. I really appreciate all your hard work and effort, and thanks for streaming some Spider-Man for us.
My pleasure. Really I'm glad I got to play this for a little bit. I was like, I was like, I can't really play that much anything tonight, and I gotta spend some time playing Battlefront. And I even told people at work, I was like, I can't even play Spider-Man tonight because all the guys at work have it too. I was like, I gotta stream my Star Wars thing. I can't play any Spider-Man. So like, it's my pleasure.
Nice, man. Well, I'm glad you got to at least play a little bit.
Yeah, you'll have to grab it. It is that sick.
I'm definitely gonna pick it up. I think it's gonna be one of those holiday pickups around that time. So, but I'm definitely gonna get my hands on it. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep my head down until Red Dead comes out, and then
yep.
But all right, guys, it was good talking to all of you. It was good talking to you too, Adam, and I will talk to you guys next week on Wednesday.
Later.